Welcome to Point Noted, the podcast by Machine Maker, and I'm sure today we are going to have a very interesting episode with Ravi Prem, who is the President of Indian Cutting Tool Manufacturers Association. He is also the CEO of Forbes & Company, where you have Totem Cutting Tools as well as Bradma Industrial Automation. They have a lot of solutions. Indian Cutting Tool Manufacturers Association is having around 100 plus members, institution members, cutting tool manufacturers. But cutting tool industry is a growing industry in India. So I think there is more than 400, 500 cutting tool manufacturers. Over the last 4 or 5 decades, we have seen this number of cutting tool manufacturers in India is also growing. So this is a very critical stage. I believe Indian cutting tool manufacturers are going, and Mr. Ravi Prem, who is having a long experience in this world, is becoming the president. How do you see the current scenario for the cutting tool manufacturers in India?
Thank you. Before we get into cutting tool, I think we are going through a golden era for Indian manufacturing. And needless to say, when it comes to Indian manufacturing, cutting tools cannot stay away from it. It's like cutting tools you cannot even think and dream about manufacturing growth in absence of cutting tools. India predominantly happened to be manufacturing in auto components. That was the era from where actually the manufacturing journey started. Looking at what government initiatives make in India, the initiatives of getting away, I'll not say getting away, but adding manufacturing into defense, aerospace, railways, infrastructure has opened up a lot of avenues for cutting tool industry. There are the regional developments which are happening, and because of which, if you see the cutting tools out here were focused on either a western part or a southern part of India. But now it is spreading across India. If you see the smaller towns, even they have cutting tools. So in general, if you have defense factories, you have automotive factories, you will see cutting tool manufacturers there. So we are following the footprints of wherever the industry is going, manufacturing industry going, cutting tool people are there. So obviously, India is showing a good sign of a growth, and I see no reason why cutting tool companies will not grow. They are growing and they'll continue to grow.
I think this is also a great opportunity for us to understand the journey of cutting tool manufacturing in India. Now, 75 years we have crossed Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. But if you see the cutting tool manufacturing, can you tell me which you are also, your company itself is also having a legacy of more than 60 plus years in manufacturing cutting tools. So what is the journey of cutting tool manufacturing in India?
Oh, it's very strange, you know, and since I come from the company which has gone through these stages, but then I'll talk in general about cutting tools. Right from importing the tools to the manufacturing of the tool. And when we say manufacturing the tool, it is more of creating a standard products and then copying the products which were globally produced to a journey of innovating product and now making products which are customized to the customer and user applications. So this is a big change, right from producing a product to the innovating a product is a big journey itself. There were the occasions when we have now the challenges where the products were imported, but Indian cutting tool producers could innovate, could develop products which are now being exported globally.
Now when we see a bit earlier times, it was German, European cutting tool manufacturers, or the Japanese, or maybe the US. And like the old world, we have seen that China have taken a big role in manufacturing. So now we have Chinese cutting tool manufacturers also trying to come to India. But there was a transformation for Indian companies to come and start manufacturing, cutting tool manufacturing. There was an opportunity where we have started. So this is a very challenging scenario I am talking about. Most importantly, we do not have the raw materials. How do you see this scenario of Indian cutting tool manufacturer? When we see India as a market, there is a good internal market. Also, we are talking about exports, but still here, there is German, European and Japanese tool makers, Indian tool makers, Chinese tool makers. And Indian cutting tool manufacturers have a big challenge that, as I told you, we don't have the raw materials.
When it comes to the cutting tool, and I'll now refer the entire cutting tool basket, you have three categories of the raw material, which is high carbon steel, which are used in typically on hand tools, or the low end quality of the tools, which is do it yourself category. The second category, which is high speed steel, which is either in a high speed steel in M2 grade or M35 grade. Those raw materials are being produced in India. But when it comes to a demanding applications called powder metallurgy in high speed steel, is still import dependent, and most of that is coming from Europe. When it comes to a carbide, unfortunately 80% of a carbide ores are in China. They are controlling it, and obviously they have that advantage. Rest of the 20%, there are the mines globally, and of course the manufacturer also are based out of Europe, and rest are in China. Coming back to the challenge which brings to India from this perspective, is we still import that raw material of a carbide. Even if we turn that carbide which we are importing and think of recycling that in India, and this is, by the way, 99% recyclable product. So it is not that you will have a wastage or you are not going to reach to the level which is required for cutting tools. So this is something which one attempt which we are taking up with the policymaker, so that this helps. Secondly, from a government perspective per se, defense is a big consumer of the carbide powders, particularly for the projectiles, and there are other applications where you need to have this. So at a broader level, when we are thinking about dreaming big about making India as a manufacturing hub for a global requirement, this definitely need to be addressed at a policy making level. There has to be a protection or the long-term contracts with the mines, which gives the carbide assurance, supplies of the raw material assurance to the India manufacturing per se, be it be defense, be it be cutting tools.
In this scenario, what is the role ICTMA, Indian Cutting Tool Manufacturers, can play?
We have in fact the two inputs. One, we know what actually all cutting tool manufacturer requires. That is one part of the story. We also know where this is being consumed and what grade of the material. Obviously that sets a tone for reprocessing and taking it forward to the next level. I see no reason when we can produce all complex products in the required internationally, why can't we produce the tool steel or a carbide? It is just a matter of scale and a size. As I said earlier, majority of the tooling consumptions were focused on automotive earlier. This consumption is now changing when automotive is one of the still big growth driver for cutting tools, but then aerospace, railways, medical, electronics, these are the big size consumption pattern. As we speak, if electronic component and 3C manufacturing will go full swing, the entire cutting tool manufacturers of India still will not be able to cater their demand. That itself will give the size and scale to the requirement of the raw material production viable in India.
Do the cutting tool manufacturers in India, specifically I'm talking about the small scale industries, do they really know about this opportunity today?
Some of them may, some of them may not, because typically what happens, and in all fairness, small scale companies will have their challenge to earn daily bread, right? And probably that's where every one of them, they see how do I fulfill a demand of a month. And that's the reason why they are not talking about 3 or 5 years. Not that they don't have a vision, but then their vision are constrained, and they try to see that how do we fulfill their requirement on a shorter period than looking at a longer horizon.
I think as an association, these smaller companies should become the member, because those are the people who need a lot of support, because you told it is their constraint, it is not because of their vision, because they don't get time or they don't get the kind of support from a larger perspective in different departments. Maybe in cutting tool, be in marketing, be in sales, be in administration, be in research and development. And in our country there is a huge cultural difference of working together. We always work differently, we don't bring, and collectively we do not do anything in India. But I think there is a huge opportunity ICTMA association like ICTMA can play. But what is it that it is stopping the small scale industries to come and work together?
I think I must compliment the past presidents who have put this association in a place. That is one. Obviously, a lot of work has gone around. We try to put now the regional committees in a place, so that the work done by the ICTMA is being talked about. We understand more what are those expectations which small scale people are asking, or rather looking for support. That's something which I'd like to. I'd like to add one small point which I forgot to mention. Though we are saying those are small scale, but they bring unique solutions, which even the big companies cannot do. So, which means the innovation is already a part of their survival strategy. They bring that unique offering to the customer, and that's why the customers are. It is not the cost. Cost is definitely going to be a driver. People globally compare us with China, so the cost is given. But at the same time, it is not now the cost. All consumption of a cutting tool is being qualified through the cost per component route. And if you don't fulfill that requirement, people now are also defining how does tool perform. Because finally, there are component producers, they are green channel suppliers to automotive assembly lines. So they don't want to have a defective product going to their assembly lines. Penalties are very heavy. So the tooling companies, be it small or big, are delivering a product which is well accepted by OEMs.
I have two experiences recently, say in 3-4 months. I was there in NGMAC exhibition in Ahmedabad. There I spoke to one cutting tool manufacturer from North India, and he was talking about the challenges he was facing from the Chinese imports. He was telling that there was a directive from the government in Haryana where they have told that you need to now put renewable energy. You need to put the full solar, and you need to manage it. So there is a cost which is involved in the operations like that. We are not getting skilled manpower, so there are a lot of expenses. So for making a particular tool, it may cost for him 1,000 rupees to produce, but there is an imported Chinese product available for 300-400 rupees. One scenario. I was there in Messe Stuttgart, and I met one German manufacturer. I told him that in India there is this particular challenge our manufacturers are facing, that the Chinese competition. Is it not in Europe, German market? He told yes, it is there. But what helped them to overcome is that they do specialized tooling and on time. They give delivery on time, and that is the survival point there. So they don't mind what Chinese are doing. What is your take on this?
I think it may be by accident, but that's how the cutting tool in India is growing. We are innovating products, and the imports which are happening are not the import of the tools what Indian tool producers are doing it. Definitely the matter of concern is the imports still can happen, we are not saying that import will not happen, but it has to be an import of the category what is being stated. And that's where something which is going to be critical. It is not we are comparing a product that which is inferior versus superior product. All Indian cutting tool company, be it small or big, the production what they are doing or the tools which they are offering to the industry is fulfilling the criteria of a performance. Whereas end users equally aware of what they are going to buy of the country which you just now said may not essentially fulfill their performance requirement. So it is kind of a risk and a reward which user is choosing.
It's more a customized service for which our Indian cutting tool manufacturers are really making the business.
Particularly on a carbide portfolio, yes, this is very customized portfolio, and if you pick the offerings of the cutting tool companies, it is more of a customized tools, and that's where the small scale companies, even today, the people, those who are into carbide manufacturing with 1 and 2, 3 machines, they are still surviving primarily because they are catering to the customized requirement of the end users.
Sir, last not the least question. Laser is an emerging industry in India. We need to go still a lot because we are dependent on the technologies. Researches are happening, but still if you see the commercial market, it is from Europe, Japan, or it is from China. And the last IMTEX we have seen, just before the IMTEX we have seen there was anti-dumping duty levied on the Chinese imports for laser machines. But cutting tool manufacturing the numbers are more Indian cutting tool manufacturers compared to 27 to almost 400 plus. How do you think that, the Indian market can be protected against the anti-dumping of finished cutting tools?
It's a difficult question to answer, but definitely there are policy changes need to be done, particularly to protect the small and medium scale companies, those who are coming up, and the way the emerging demand in cutting tool is going to come. Pricing element of any cutting tool will be based on demand and consumption. And what today we face a challenge of the supplies which are actually coming from China is more of a dumping of the excess capacity which they have because of geopolitical situation and a relationship with the US. They created all that factories to meet US demand, and the moment the US put anti-dumping, they have that capacity which they wanted to divert, and India probably is the easiest and the biggest option available to them. So it is more to do with the policy making, which of course we are going to take up with the policymakers.
We are actually almost just a couple of weeks ahead. The annual conclave of Indian cutting tool manufacturers are happening in Bangalore. Will these topics will be discussed there?
I think when we talk about annual conclave, there are two prime themes. One, to discuss the issues which are experienced and support which is to be provided to the cutting tool fraternity. That is one set of agenda. The second set of the agenda is to make manufacturers and customers aware what are those latest technology trends which are emerging or which can facilitate them to be more productive and create the customized solutions for the emerging technologies in manufacturing which are coming up. And that's the reason why we talk about, there are people who are going to participate from machine tools, from a coating, from the raw material, all of that. So, it is more of eco-structure will come together for a day and try to create awareness among the fraternity.
Sir, we know this is not a very easy task, what you are taking up as the president of Indian Cutting Tool Manufacturers Association. I believe industry needs to come more together, trust these industry leaders, what they are trying to do for the Indian manufacturing, strengthening the small scale industries. The vision is there, and what I believe the industry is now to take this expertise to the benefit of all those industries outside there. Thank you for sharing your valuable time, and I wish you more success to strengthen Indian cutting tool manufacturing.
Thank you very much. I think collectively the board members and the past presidents, we are putting our best efforts forward. I take this opportunity even to urge the cutting tool fraternity to join and strengthen our hands to make this more productive venture, and which would be beneficial for the cutting tool fraternity as well as for the Indian manufacturing vision to fulfill of 25% GDP coming from manufacturing industry. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.